Welcome to another stirring installment of Adulting with Autism.
I'm here this time.
Yes, there is another human with me. Things are back to normal. It's nice. We only have one question this week, so I'm gonna assume that everything is fine and dandy for most people. Like, everybody's just having a swell time.
Or at least our advice was just so good that no one felt the need to ask any more questions.
Yeah, I think we've solved life.
Mm.
We've solved being an adult, which is great, but it means that, the follow-up is going to be a tough one. It's like, Orson Welles made Citizen Kane, and then also The Magnificent Ambersons. People don't talk about that as much.
Never heard of it. Is it bad?
It's alright, actually, but it's no Citizen Kane. Unlike Citizen Kane.
And you can say that about all films, though. Like, the Rugrats movie, it's no Citizen Kane.
That's because it's better than Citizen Kane. But
I mean, certainly, I first watched Citizen Kane at the age of 12. At that point, I did prefer the Rugrats movie.
Yeah. I think what is important to note is the much broader palette of colours the Rugrats movie uses.
Mm.
And
more variety in sort of outfit design as well.
Yeah.
You wouldn't see a Citizen Kane character in a nappy.
You would most likely not, apart from maybe at the very end of his life, just before he.
Well, no spoilers.
Yeah. I mean, just in case anybody's out there.
In case anyone doesn't know what happens at the end of life, we're just gonna leave that until you watch the film.
Yeah. Keep things a mystery, you know? So, yeah, we seem to have been rebranded into a temporary rebranding into a film podcast by accident, which is great. That's what everybody's here for.
Well, yeah, I mean, if there's one thing the world needs, it's more film podcasts.
There's just not enough of them. Just not enough. Yeah, we have a question.
We do. We have exactly one question, and it's from Anonymous.
I like them. They've given us a lot of material over the weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I prefer their early work.
Yeah, me too.
But anyway, the Legion would like to know how to keep up with household chores if you get tired or executive dysfunction.
That's a good question.
Well, I mean, there's multiple options. Option 1 being you don't.
Yeah, that's...
Option 2 being have housemates and hope that they don't mind you not doing much.
Yeah, I think you gotta... And option 3 is... I guess sort of you gotta make compromises with yourself and at least say, okay, I'm not gonna be able to get on top of everything today, but today's dishes, tomorrow is, vacuuming or something like that. Just take it bit by bit, and you might sometimes be behind, but at least be behind in the sense of, oh, this place could do with a bit of a clean rather than it's becoming a dump.
I mean, one thing I find is quite useful for me is sort of, how sometimes you will get sort of a sudden burst of energy, but it's kind of directionless.
Yeah.
Even if you're completely exhausted. What I'll do is set a 10 or 15 minute timer on my phone and just go until it stops, basically.
Yep.
And that's enough time to sort of, do a load of washing up, tidy up a small section of a room, that sort of thing. Or put some laundry in, even.
Yeah, that's seems to be something that works for you. For me, I find that I'm not a morning person, but I will start off with more energy whenever I do wake up. So I seem to go, right, I'll get washing up, something like that, out of the way.
Yeah, you're like an iPhone, aren't you?
Yeah.
You've charged overnight, you have loads of energy, then you do a bunch of stuff and lose all of your energy.
Yeah.
Like, incredibly rapidly.
Yes. but my energy levels are very, very strange things, and I find that, I don't know, this is just me personally, but I find one of the it's important to it can be important to say, right, I'm going to take it easy today, but I find that saying that means I always do the opposite.
Yeah, I mean that's by no means like an autism thing. Like my mum does that.
Yeah.
She's the worst person at being ill. Like she will have the flu and say, "Oh, I won't do anything." And then we'll go and like hoover the living room, do some gardening, do like 3 or 4 loads of washing up.
Yeah. I mean, I don't tend to like tire myself out in that way, that as much. I don't tire myself out doing useful stuff.
Sometimes you do.
So, yeah, sometimes, but
Sorry about that loud noise.
it's always like, okay, I'm not gonna write anything. I don't need to do that. I've done plenty lately. Oh no, I've done 10 pages. I messed up.
10 pages. I'm pretty sure last time that happened you wrote an entire sitcom pilot.
I mean, yeah, potato, pilot.
Pilot.
Yeah, pilot. Yeah. Thank you for that question, Anonymous. And yeah, if anybody has any questions, please do send them in. Because yeah, we are bereft.
We're not even at 7 minutes.
We are not even at 7 minutes.
One thing that it might be quite good to talk about today
Yes.
is surviving summer with sensory issues.
Oh, that's a good one, because we have been dying. We are
Yeah.
absolutely dying today.
It is in the mid to high 20s with
Yep.
70 or 80% humidity,
Yeah, and
which is what I like to refer to as the death zone.
I don't know where our listeners are from. I don't know what the...
Well, according to the YouTube stats,
Yeah.
we have France, Germany, the US, and Canada, but not the UK, oddly enough.
That's interesting.
Yeah, YouTube says that no one from the UK has listened to our podcast.
Okay.
This may be incorrect, but I find that interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. I feel I may need to explain at this point, just like, yeah, everything in this country is built to maintain heat, and it's like the country's wrapped up in a load of blankets all the time. So when things get above like 15 or something like that, we all just start dying.
Yeah, well, the thing is, when you live in cold and windy land the majority of the year, your houses and your buildings are built to keep heat in, and you don't have air conditioning except in like very modern buildings generally.
Yeah.
So when it does become hot, there is no escape.
Yeah, and we live in a quite traditional terraced house, so we are toasty.
Yeah, but not in a fun, cheesy way.
No.
Although sometimes we are fun and cheesy.
Yes.
You are not allowed to complain about puns, Nick Blake.
Okay.
You are like the one person who is not allowed. You know this.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
you are the font of puns.
I am. Fun times, New Roman. That's.
I have no words. But
I have plenty.
anyway,
That's everyone's problem with me.
surviving heat.
Yeah, surviving heat. We've been opening all the windows and the back door and that. We have stockpiled a reasonable amount of ice pops to keep us cold.
Yeah, if you have the freezer space, I highly recommend going on Amazon and buying 150 Mr. Freeze ice pops, so you know it's the good stuff.
Yes.
For, was it £16?
It was.
Yeah, I don't know what that converts to in whatever currency, but it's not a lot of money.
No, it's for what you're getting is pretty good.
It's pretty much wholesale.
Yeah, we got kind of wholesale price iced pops. So that's good.
I mean, it does take up an entire freezer drawer, but you could always just not freeze all of them at once.
That's true. And it's worth it. They're kind of great.
Mm.
Yeah, we've been taking as many sort of pajama days as possible and just kind of going.
Well, you've been having pajama days because your pajamas are not wearing clothes.
Yeah.
I've just been wearing tiny skimpy outfits.
Yes. So, yeah. Just light clothing as much as possible, opening windows, buying 150 ice pops.
So eat ice and be sexy
Yeah.
is how to survive the summer.
That is exactly how you survive the summer.
Cold foods as well.
Yeah, we've had.
Like, thing is,
Yeah.
there have been studies that show that stuff like apple juice and milk actually certainly hydrate you after exercise better than water does.
Yeah.
So logically, things like that would also hydrate you better when it's hot, right?
Yeah. So what you're saying is you should be a good milky boy.
Or girl or non-binary person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or a juicy boy if you prefer.
Yeah.
But also, it's like, I mean, we had pea and mint soup yesterday, which apparently is not a thing in the US. I've been told this.
See, I'm very confused because I distinctly remember in my early childhood watching the Rescuers Down Under, and pea soup was explicitly referenced in one of the opening scenes.
Maybe they just never thought to combine peas and mint, or maybe it's just this one person who's never heard of it and is just
Maybe.
like the anti-soup georg.
Well, the thing is, it's we're talking about Americans thinking to put seasoning in a dish, so
To be fair though,
yeah.
like, a lot of Americans are good at seasoning. It's wasps who are bad at seasoning.
Yeah.
Although my friend, I'm pretty sure, is a wasp who lives in upstate New York.
Maybe I think there's a lot of people in America who are good at seasoning, but they're all in the South. That's they've just kind of concentrated there. They've clumped like chili powder when you've had it for too long.
Not that they would understand that reference, the
No.
wasps. I mean, I say that I am technically a wasp,
Mm-mm.
but it's different.
Yes. Whole nother thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've dispensed some nice advice.
Soupy advice.
Nice soupy advice.
If you want to make pea and mint soup, by the way, really easy. For one person, you want 250 grams of frozen peas. You cook them in some stock. You add however much mint you want, and you blend it.
Yep.
That's it.
It's about all there is to it. Oh, you can add an onion.
Yeah, some people also add a potato,
Yes.
but we didn't.
Yeah, we often find adding too much potato to soups can make it a bit starchy and a bit thick.
Don't worry if it ends up looking like green paint. It still tastes good.
Yeah, it's what you're on the right track if it looks like it's not edible.
There's a lot of sort of soups and stews end up looking like that.
Yeah.
Like some of I'll say it. Some of my mum's cooking looks like vomit, but it is delicious.
Yeah. I mean,
Like, have you seen vegetable soup? Especially tinned vegetable soup. It's even got that weird yellow colour to it.
it's like a lot of old English food is just like, it doesn't look pretty. It's not designed to be appetizing. There's some brown liquid with things floating in it, and it's good and it keeps you going.
Coats your bones, as they say.
Yes, coats your bones, which sounds so gross.
But you don't want bone coating in this weather.
No,
You want pea and mint soup.
you want bone bleaching.
No, that's just the thing that happens in the sun.
Oh yeah, you don't want that. Don't die, and have your bones be bleached. That's my survival tip. Don't die.
That is a good survival tip. I like it.
Yeah, might write a book one day.
On how to not be dead.
Yeah. You just put your lips together, and then put some food between them, followed by liquids.
It's probably easier if you open your lips a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. And I think a combination of meats and various legumes, and don't have poison.
I think we should possibly end there because we're degenerating into just mindless rambling, which I'm sure no one wants to listen to.
I maintain that my survival tips are solid.
Then maybe you should start a brand new podcast that's just you talking for half an hour. Just to see what happens.
Well, I'll take a straw poll on that. See what listeners would want. Speaking of rambling and voices and talking and natural segues, we had an offer from one of our listeners to sort of come on the show and chat. Nothing came of it, but I think that might potentially be an interesting angle to pursue, just talking to people about how they adult with autism.
Maybe have them sort of help answer questions as well sometimes.
Yeah.
Could be fun.
And I think what I'm doing here is sort of setting the floor. If you feel self-conscious about what you're putting out there, what you're saying, just remember that I have suggested meat and legumes and not dying as survival tips. You cannot get worse than that. So yeah, if you got questions, let us know. If you might want a guest on the show, also let us know.
Yeah, if you want to contact either of us personally, you can find us on Tumblr at invisible-goats.
And Night Warbler.
That's all one word.
Yes. Yeah, we're actually...
We're not doing too badly for length.
We are not. Yeah, slightly shorter than usual, but we have a hefty... Yeah, it's a hefty, big, proud boy, big, nice...
Are you hoping that if you keep talking like that, the letter's on maximum fun?
Oh, now you've rumbled me. That was my secret plan.
Just call me Rumpelstiltskin.
Nice. Yeah, and if you have any kind of oddly specific products that you want me to endorse for money, like, I'll definitely do that. Send me some underwear or mattresses, and I'll just record all the podcasts on my nice new mattress in my nice custom underwear.
Custom underwear?
I don't know. Yeah, if you gonna have to go one better than the others, you know.
I mean, I wouldn't turn down some custom underwear.
Yeah.
It is hard to buy bras.
Yeah, send us your custom underwear, and I will heartily endorse it. Just bespoke coverings. That's what I want. Or
a mattress is not a covering.
It's a covering for the floor.
No, only because we don't own a bed.
Technicalities. Yeah. Send us your questions and offers to be on the show. Probably don't send us underwear, come to think of it. That doesn't seem like an okay thing.
And we'll be back in a couple of weeks, hopefully with some questions and less talking about underwear and poison.
Yeah, don't send us underwear. Don't eat poison.
And don't kiss your dad square on the lips.
Yeah, don't do that.
That's weird.
Yeah, that's a bad thing to do. Yeah. See you next time.